games, one weapon or character can end up defining them. Options that go beyond incredibly strong into game-breaking. Things so powerful that they can reshape how the entire game works around them. Most fans of any competitive game will be able to think of something like this. Maybe you're a Fortnite fan remembering the Infinity Blade, tearing through every single build. Or a Mercy player being able to solo res the entire team almost instantaneously. And she's not even the most broken thing in her own game. The list here could go on and on, but today I want to talk about a new candidate for this discussion. This is Splatoon 2's Stingray.
Can anybody get the Rainmaker in time? Yamagi's who grabs it. That does it.
ハイパーメネスターでとどめを刺しに行くか決めたー
Whoa, 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 whoa! From behind! From behind!
Biscuit needs to come up huge here and protect. He actually gets one pick. The points are going to come very quickly here, and of course a Stingray at exactly the right time.
It's going to be a 3v4 here. They need to pressure Hippos. He's in the spawn. You expect.
Exactly what you expect. They grab it there to try to get a couple more points, but of course, woo! Stingray, everybody!
Briefly, let me explain how Splatoon works for those who don't know. It won't take long. This is a team-based objective shooter. Players are able to move fast and stealthily through terrain they have inked, but otherwise have limited mobility. Health is low, and kill times are fast. Competitive objectives include King of the Hill, Payload, running a super weapon to the enemy base, and a mode where you gather clams to score in the other basket. To help with pushing and defending and general game pacing, players can build towards special weapons, providing a variety of powerful options with qualities like chainable HP with Ink Armor, long-range displacement tools like Killer Whale or Tenta Missiles, and powerful killing options like Inkjet or Trizuka. While some of these specials have had a substantial impact on their game's meta, they all pale in comparison to the subject of today's video, Stingray. The special concept alone already gives you a good hint as to just how powerful this is going to be. Stingray is an infinite range death laser that does 1.8 damage every 60th of a second, and 1.5 damage if it passes through a wall, with players having 100 HP. This is a laser that lasts about 7 to 8 seconds, and also has the ability to see people through walls with a thermal effect when not firing. Being able to influence enemy movement is extremely valuable in a team setting, but Stingray has one quality to set it apart from everything else. It's aimable. This immediately presents a big issue. In Tower Control and Rainmaker, half the game's competitive modes, Stingray is a near unstoppable way to clear the objective. This special was given the nickname the GG Ray. In TC, you need to be riding the tower in order to push it forward, which Stingray can completely deny across the stage, which has the added bonus of ending the game in overtime, since being off the tower for 5 seconds ends the match. In Rainmaker, this issue is even worse, because the Rainmaker is one of your players, and when they grab it, it shows their location and gives you a big movement penalty, making taking that out with the Stingray a really easy way to stop a push dead in its tracks, giving you a numbers advantage.
He has it now. This is going to be really dangerous. They need to take him out. Otherwise, he's just going to stop the push. And yeah, Biscuit goes straight down there.
And this was almost impossible to stop. With infinite range, they would be far behind their team, sometimes in their literal spawn via super jumping out to ensure nothing can reach them. It got so bad that by the end of the game's life, there were some matches with 4 Stingrays, half of the special slots in that lobby, with one being seen as mandatory in these modes. There are other ranked modes like Zones where it doesn't have the objective power, but as you might imagine, being able to put lethal pressure in any area of the map without even putting in the effort to take it yourself is incredibly powerful as a displacement tool. Though it had a limited turning speed, it was more than enough to pressure any area you wanted, which alone would make it very powerful. But Ray was more than just displacement. What I haven't mentioned is that Ray is actually an extremely difficult special. You need to track fast-moving players across the stage for over a second in order to kill them, which is longer than most kill times in this game. But if you put in the time, you are able to do things like this.
Over time, most things fade away. Isn't that right? All of the memories dissolve. A sunshine, the breeze song go by.
With insane skill, Ray became a killing special. The best one ever made, because you practically could not stop it. I just said this thing at a limited turning speed, but with the power of triangles, the further away the Ray user is, the faster that beam can travel. And it doesn't take much distance for it to move faster than you could move. Wanna hide instead? Well, remember, it can see you through walls with the thermal effect. Not like you could sit there anyway while the enemy team runs in to take positions for 7 to 8 seconds. Your only real counter options were other global range specials. The next two most powerful specials in the game being missiles and armor, one of which gives you a powerful displacement tool that will probably reach Ray far too late, and ink armor, which made it harder to die due to the extra health. But even if the best case scenario happened here, you pop your armor and missiles, and everyone on your team avoids dying to the Stingray, now their team just pushes in with their own specials, and you're completely out of yours, dooming the next fight anyway. I should mention that again, none of this was easy. It required a lot of practice to learn how to track someone with map flares like this that made the special nearly inaccessible for normal players. But at the end of the day, if the Ray user was good enough, nothing you did there really mattered. Except for one option. Yeah, as you might have guessed, it's another Stingray.
You were seeing a Stingray, a very powerful Stingray.
What?
I know,
No
right?
way.
A Stingray, no way.
What a
At this level,
surprise.
what a surprise.
By the end of the game, Ray completely broke 2 ranked modes, while taking over even in the others. The endgame meta of Splatoon 2 revolved around fast-moving weapons primarily from just one of 9 classes, with most of the other common specials being other global range specials that had a noticeable impact on Stingray, all of which Ray is partially responsible for. After 5 long years of a chokehold on this game, Splatoon 2's final tournament literally ended with one more GG Ray.
Will Ray end the game? Ending the entire tournament with a Stingray. Was anybody surprised? I heard lots of cheers and elation as Stingray did what it has done throughout the entirety of this game's lifespan.
But is that really it though? Is this really enough to be on the same caliber as other game-breaking options? Well, no. At least, not this Stingray. You see, there's one more crucial detail I haven't mentioned yet, which is that everything I've mentioned about Ray so far isn't the special at its best. To get to its peak, we have to reverse all of these. With the nerfs reverted, you now have a version of Stingray that, in addition to everything I said before, lasted an extra second normally, with the duration increase from special power also being stronger. You go from 7 to 8 seconds to 8 to 10 seconds. It dealt even better damage to protection specials, and armor was basically useless against it since the Object Shredder ability also broke armor instantly. The only option that protects your team is practically useless. And what shockingly isn't the most impactful change here, Ray dealt more damage, up from the 1.5 you'd usually do to 2 damage per 1/60th of a second. That's a very substantial increase, especially paired with the fact that there's no more penalty for hitting through terrain. There's also another change to the game itself that dramatically buffed Ray even further, and that's the health recovery. For the later parts of Splatoon 2, you recovered your health after about 1 second of taking damage, but in the early patches of the game, including when Stingray was at its most powerful, the health recovery delay was 1.5 seconds, meaning you had to spend even longer away from the Ray before you could recover your health, making it even easier for it to find kills on you. So what is worse than all of that by far? Remember the tiny amount of counterplay of using your own specials to reach it, or by some miracle making it that far in spawn? Imagine getting all the way over there just to realize you are completely useless because you could use Ray inside your spawn barrier. Complete invincibility. At its peak, you would find games like this semifinals, which has 5 Stingrays in its least impactful mode, where my job as the one person without a Stingray on my team is to just avoid dying to the death laser battles and paint the zone, which we mainly won because we had 1 extra death laser than they did. And all of that was when the game was new. If we had players who got as good at endgame Ray with all these broken stats, there is no telling how much worse things could have been. It was so bad that even Nintendo, the company that let nightmares like Smash 4 Bayo dominate their game without fixing her properly, realized the issue and within 6 months of the game's launch, completely stopped adding new weapons with the special, something that has never been done before or since. But at the end of the day, even with all those nerfs, the base concept was too strong. Ray did more than break half the rank modes, need to be nerfed in a way that was inaccessible to most players, helped define the most limited meta in the game's history. It turned a multiplayer shooter into a single player game. Players have long since gone to move on from Ray, with the sequel to the game coming out a few years ago. But even today, it still holds an infamous reputation, and I hope this video was able to show you why. Thanks for watching.